Hello! Well, today's video is the final part in the trilogy between myself and Kata Rabbit Scale Model Studio, rounding out with a character for the scatter terrain piece that we made in the second video. I'll also post a link to both this and the first video on the body bags in the comments. So as you can see, the whole stall is based around selling body parts. It's even called, the bits box, and it says spares and repair on it. So going off this for the character, I decided that basically doing this in the Underhive, they wouldn't be very skilled. Somebody at this level doing this kind of job would be bare bones and essentially just be a butcher, which is what drove me for the inspiration for the character. With this in my head, I raided my own bits box and found the perfect body. So this is a heavy stubber Chaos Cultist from the set that came with Dark Vengeance originally. I'm not sure if they're ever put out separately afterwards. I know the basic sort of rank and file stubborn guys were. But the most important thing about this, ignoring all the chaos iconography and the big chaos star on his face, is he's wearing an apron, which would save me a lot of time potentially faffing around trying to sculpt one. So the first things first was to remove his head, take off his arms and get rid of the chaos iconography. So after gently removing all that and filing down the chaos star, just a little bit of green stuff we needed just to fill in the round peg hole on his stomach. There's also one on his back as well because he had a backpack too. But other than that, that's the body ready to go. Moving on to his arms, I wanted to give him a cleaver like he'd been hacking something to pieces. Now I spent a long time trying to find one that I know had been floating around on my desk for literally months, but I couldn't find it. So I needed something to represent that was didn't look like a sword, something that had the handle that was off centre. I found it using the Poxwalker arm, as you can see in this picture. The arm itself just needed trimming at the elbow to match the body, and also the blade needed trimming about 2/3 of the way along just to give it that blunt edge cleaver type look. For his left hand, I really wanted an open hand, purely because I didn't think he'd be armed with a gun on him if he's doing his day job. He stood at a table chopping up meat. Now luckily for me, one of the guys at my local club brought his bits box down. He's a big Mechanicus player, and I found a couple of sprues of the Electro Priest, all with open hands, so I snapped them up immediately. And then it was just a simple case of chopping it just above the wrist so it fit on the model. So as you can see here on his right arm, I've just attached it with a little bit of glue and just put a green stuff ring around the join, and this will be a glove. Like a blue rubber glove, and I've also trimmed down the excess sort of Poxwalker bits just to make his hand look a bit normal. It is a bit more angular than his right hand, but a couple of sort of thicker coats of the colour that I'm going to use should help bulk that out and intentionally lessen the detail to make it look a bit more glove-like. His left hand is a nice open palm that I've glued on at about a 30-degree angle, sort of mirroring the angle of the table that he's working at. I might at some point do like a leg that will fit under his hand between him and the table, just to give the emphasis that he's at work and he's like pushing something down, which is why when the model stands on his own the hand looks at a bit of a strange angle to normal. And then after that, the last thing to find was just a suitable head. So having had a raid around my bits box, I found this one, quickly glued it on and set him in the store just to see what he would look like. The head itself is from the Orlock gang sprue. I picked the one with the beard and the goggles for two reasons. The beard I thought would add a bit of age to the character, and the goggles would be good to go with his theme, as it would stop getting blood and viscera in his eyes if he's chopping something up. So with the head for him chosen, that was this build pretty much done, and it was literally about 2 hours thought put into this. It's such a quick way to do it. The characters come out exactly how I imagine a big surly butcher. Which means that the final step was to get a coat of paint on him, and here's how it went. The idea behind it is sort of red and browns for the underclothes and shoe areas as to tie in with the gore on the actual model, but lighter colours for the outer clothes like the apron and the trousers, so I knew they'd be getting a decent cover of gore and grime. The idea for the blue gloves I stole from the Forge World Rogue Dock. The filter I ended up using gives a nice sort of sickly gore cover when it goes over blue, so this worked really well as well. And finally, with all the areas sort of painted and highlighted, it was time to add on all the gore and grime, the fun stuff basically. So my secret trick to adding gore and grime is to start off with a very, very thin down layer of dirty down rust. If you super water it down, if you paint it over, it will give a nice almost oxidized layer. It will just tint it a nice orangey red colour, which is what it's to go for, more like a staining than a pure blood effect. I was happy with the first couple of layers of that. I slowly added in blood for the blood god just to make it that bit more red and a bit more visceral, and finally just on the back a couple of spots of just pure blood for the blood god just for a nice red pop. Apply this everywhere and it gives it the best effect that I can think of. And with that, he is finished. He stand at his table chopping meat all day. He looks the part, and I'd like to say a big thanks to Rob for inspiring me with this little challenge, and also the other 2 videos that we've done together as well. I'll post a little link to Rob's video just in the first comment of this one. Please go check this out, because the ogre he's done is absolutely fantastic. Such an amazing paint, it's a great theme as well. So I hope you enjoy what you've seen. If you do like it, remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll leave you with quite a few pretty shots of him in his natural environment. That's it for now. I'll talk to you soon.